Welcome to the Prophecy Club. Our topic today is climate change is not caused by humans. It is actually caused from high technology called Scalar Wave. It was actually discovered by Nikola Tesla. I don't have the date, way back in the 50s, okay? He took it first to America, but they couldn't seem to make it work. But the Russians were able to make it work, and from there the Molochs got a hold of it, and who knows how many of those scalar wave machines they have today. But what it's causing our climate to change, hurricanes, tornadoes, floods, droughts, high technology. It's scalar wave. And with that, they're trying to bring us into a new world order, so everyone will have to take the mark. Now, before I get into it, I keep getting asked by my staff to say, please join Prophecy Club. $9.90 a month, and it would be an automatic payment, and you can get into it just by clicking the QR code before, and it will tell you all about it. Also, please click subscribe, click the bell, share with your friends. Remind you we have a Bible study Friday night, 6:30 to 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. You can watch it at prophecyclub.com, Facebook, and YouTube, and we read the King James Bible. All right, now I'm about to show you some video of hurricanes. But what I want you to see is that, well, what a hurricane really looks like. Now, I want you to try to memorize it because I'm going to show you what scalar wave looks like in just a minute. Okay, here's the hurricane. Now, what do you see about that hurricane? You see it spinning. By the way, it's counterclockwise because things north of the equator spin counterclockwise, and then things south of the equator spin clockwise. I have a friend in South Africa. I'm always teasing her that, their toilets have the handle on the wrong side, the water spins the wrong way. Okay, now, this was Hurricane Ivan. Now, let's go to another hurricane. This is Hurricane Rita in 2006, and this is Hurricane Gustav in 2008. This is Hurricane Rick in 2009. I'll show you another spot of that. But I want you to look at these. Okay, what do you see? You just see white clouds spinning, right? Or do you see something else? No. That's all you see. Because a real hurricane that is just created by things in nature, not high tech, that's what it looks like. Here's Patricia. It's just white spinning clouds. That's what I want you to look at. Here's another one. Jamina. White spinning clouds. Okay, and about right now you're saying, so what? Well, so what that's the big point. Now let's go to Ian. Okay, white spinning clouds. Now let's go to, let me show you scalar wave. What I want you to see is the sparkles. Okay, scalar wave is round. That's not lightning. That is scalar wave. And of course, this is speeded up. All right, let me go back. Okay, so here is normal hurricane. You don't see any flashes in any of them. Rick, Gustav, Earl, Patricia, Jimnima. You don't see flashes in any of them. However, when we go over to these, look at that. Look at all those flashes. That's scalar wave. Now, with that scalar wave, they can do a lot of things. If they wanted to, now what they're doing is that area where scalar wave is sent, it makes it super hot. The air rises, and then it starts spinning, and that's how they create a hurricane or a tornado. But if they want to, they can also make that area super cold. If they wanted to, they could shut down this hurricane probably in a matter of minutes. I'm just guessing, maybe 15 or 20 minutes, and it would be gone. All I have to do is just switch it. Instead of making the air hot, they start making the air cold, and they can make it really cold. I mean, really cold, really fast. That's scalar wave. Now, I say that because I don't want you to believe when they're saying, oh, well, you got to get rid of, well, here, I'll get to that, because of scalar wave. Right now, these are the current fires burning worldwide. See, that's part of their agenda. Whatever they can do to start destroying our world, saying this is climate change, and you got to make these changes. We'll get to the changes in just a second. Biden regime declares war on ceiling fans to fight climate change. That's right. You got to get rid of your gas stove, your gas furnaces, your water heaters, your ceiling fans, your cars, your gasoline, all of that because of climate change. Okay, well, they're not doing climate change just to make us uncomfortable, just to take away our cars. Eventually, where it's going to go is the whole point is to get everybody on earth to worship the beast and to take his mark. Now, we know that, but most people don't know that. Most people don't even know about Scalar Wave. But I'm telling you, you got to tell your friends, okay? This is a man-made high technology that's causing this flood or this drought or whatever it may be. Climate change can give them the opportunity to say there's just too many people on the planet. Got to eliminate some people, and of course they're going to start with Christians. Got too many people. We need to have everybody start eating bugs. Got to get rid of your cars because they emit something in the atmosphere that's not good. Got to stop using fertilizer because, got to get rid of cows because they have gas come out. No food sold in the stores. Everybody's got to just grow their own food. And by the way, one of the headlines was people go back to growing their own food. No crude oil used because that puts something into the atmosphere. Matter of fact, air conditioners, you got to get rid of. Remember, they had to get rid of one whole kind of air conditioner fluid because that depleted the ozone, so they said. All right, well, of course, the new, refrigerant they call it? The new refrigerant is really expensive. Now, the old refrigerant did a lot better job, and it was a lot cheaper, but they wanted to get rid of it, so they started raising the prices. Last I heard it was like $250 a pint or something like that. It was ridiculous. No food stolen in stores, no crude oil, no refrigerant destroys the ozone, no air conditioners or refrigerators. You got to get rid of refrigerators because they have a refrigerant in them, and that refrigerant might just leak out, and that might destroy the ozone, and that's what is causing the hurricanes, you see. Well, it's not what's causing the hurricanes, but you're not going to have ABC, CBS, NBC, CNN, or your local news. All of it's controlled. They are not going to tell you this. If you do not send this over to your friends, neighbors, relatives, work friends, church friends, business friends, if you don't send it out to other people you know, they will not hear this. Can't have any pesticides, can't have any factories because they use too much energy and they dirty the air. No electricity, it dirties the air, you see. Climate change is going to give them control of the world. That's what they want. Remember, Henry Kissinger said that he who controls food controls people. He who controls energy can control whole continents. He who controls money controls the whole world. That's their objective. They want control. That's why they have associations. Your dentist is part of an association. Your doctor is part of an association. Good grief, everything. I mean, even a person that works on your car has an association. Why? Because through an association, they can control them. Well, you got to be wearing a mask when you go in to see your doctor, you see. That kind of control. There was a German Lutheran pastor back that lived from 1892 to 1984. He said this: first they came for the socialists, and I didn't speak out because I was not a socialist. Then they came for the trade unionists, and I didn't speak out because I wasn't a trade unionist. Then they came for the Jews, and I didn't speak out because I was not a Jew. Then they came for me, and there was no one left to speak out for me. Now, I'm going to tie this in with climate change. So they started using climate change, but no one knew about it. No one complained. So they started using it to make tornadoes and hurricanes and fires and droughts and probably bird things like what happened in Maui. It is deadly. Now, this is what lightning looks like. It's a long streak. This is what scalar wave looks like. Let me say it again. This is lightning. This is scalar wave. How do you know, Stan? Because March 13th, 2005, we were having a speaker in, and he was talking about this. And I asked the Lord, if scalar wave is really real, Show me in a dream. Show me what it looked like. And I had a dream. And that's what it looked like. That's what I saw in the dream. So as far as I'm concerned, it's confirmed. So the speaker we're having in was Bill Snevlin. He's one of our favorite speakers. I think he's had, 6 or 7 DVDs made through Prophecy Club. You can go to prophecyclub.com or watch prophecyclub.com, and you can see all of his DVDs. Anyway, Bill reveals technology that the Russians have that can knock out anything on the land, on the sea, under the sea, or in the air, any place on the globe, with little to no trace of who did it or where it even came from. And that may explain why we see so many fish and whales beaching themselves. Birds, entire flock of birds, fall out of the air and they're dead before they can hit the ground. When they hit the ground, they're not flopping around. They're not in the process of dying. The people say they were dead in the air. Scalar Wave renders all conventional weapons of war obsolete against Soviets' energy weapons. Scalar Wave has changed how war is conducted. You can get this DVD at prophecyclub.com, or you can watch it instantly at watchprophecyclub.com. Now, there's going to come a time, we know, you're not going to be able to access the internet. So it'd be a very smart thing for you to actually have the DVD. DVD is $30, but you can join Watch Prophecy Club for $20 a month or $200 a year, and you can watch up to 300 DVDs as often as you want to, anytime you want to. $20 a month, $200 a year. Scalar Wave does not travel like radar from point A to B. It's interdimensional. It leaves A and arrives at C without any trace. It is believed to be what took out the Thresher submarine and the Challenger. It is also believed to be able to kill large amounts of birds in flight dead before they hit the ground, and likewise, fish in water or sea, no trace, no cause. Fires, no cause. Chickens and horses and cows, no cause, die. Fires. Refineries set on fire, no cause, can't find out who did it. It leaves no trace except the birds leave the area. It is also believed to be what took out Gary Powers in the U-2 spy plane over Russia back in the 1960s. They've had a long time and perfected it. They can make large portions of the atmosphere very cold, creating massive cold storms, or they can superheat, creating massive droughts, heat waves, or fires. It creates sparks out of thin air, can start a fire. It is suspected to be the cause of many of the superheat and super cold storms across America for the last 20 years. It is the perfect weapon because it can't be proven it was the cause. Who did it? Where's the weapon? They can't even find them. It can act like an umbrella protecting a city or an entire country from incoming attacks from air or water. Here's how it works. Okay, so one beam on this part of the planet and this other beam on the other part of the planet sends the beams around the Earth, and when they intersect, this is what happens. It is believed it's what took out the trade towers and 9/11. How do you make concrete and steel just turn to dust? There you go. Energy weapons. Might not be scalar wave in that case. Scalar waves are produced when two electromagnetic waves of the same frequency are exactly out of phase. That means opposite to each other. And the amplitudes subtract and cancel and destroy each other. The result is not exactly an annihilation of magnetic fields, but a transformation of energy back into a scalar wave. This scalar field has reverted back to the vacuum state of potentiality. Scalar waves can be created by wrapping electrical wires around a figure 8 in the shape of a Mobius coil. When electric current flows through the wires in opposite direction, the opposing electromagnetic fields from the two wires cancel each other and create scalar wave. Here's the way it works. Here's the way it looks. I've actually seen scalar wave. Actually, it happened one night about 11 o'clock. I was in my prayer closet praying, and it was raining outside, big storm, and I wasn't paying a lot of attention to it. I was in the prayer closet. But all of a sudden, there was a big crack. It sounded like thunder. And that's another thing. Thunder will often have a crack and then an echo, 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 echo. I've noticed scalar wave doesn't have that. It is just a crack, crack, crackety, crack, crack, crack. In other words, it sounds different than lightning. Anyway, so all of a sudden I heard this crack. And you know how you do sometimes. 1 elephant, 2 elephant, 3 elephant, 4 elephant. I wanted to find out how far away it was. And I saw the light. And then I was waiting to hear the crack. Only I didn't hear it. And I thought, well, that's really strange. So I walked outside, and it wasn't raining too bad. And as I walked out, I looked out across my neighbors, across the street, and that's what I saw. I saw that, I'm going to say, about the height of a very tall flagpole. It was about twice the height of my neighbor's house, above my neighbor's house. I mean, it was really close to the house. And it blinked like that. And this time there was not a crack. And then I stood there shocked and for a couple of minutes. And then it did exactly the same thing in the same area. Stood there a couple of minutes more. And then it did exactly the same thing again in the same place, exactly the same place, except for it was orange. I mean, it was as orange as an orange. I mean, like the fruit, orange. Only this time it cracked. There was a loud crack. So sometimes there's cracks, sometimes there's not cracks. Okay, depends. But anyway, that's what it looks like. So next time you have a storm coming out, and here's another thing. Sometimes you can't see it because it's back up in the clouds, but you can hear the difference. Lightning, there's one crack and then an echo. But scalar wave, it's crackety, crackety, crack, 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 crack. In other words, it's not an echo, it's multiple scalar waves exploding at once. And a lot of times they're not just in the same place, just as you saw back on those hurricanes. Matter of fact, let's go back here. Let me just point out something here to you. Look, these. See, they're on one side of the storm coming around like this, and then they're over here. This is heating the area, so the air starts rising, and then down here, out here, as the air starts rising, that's what causes the hurricane. Same thing here. Out here, and sometimes it's even in the center. But all of these cracks, this is real fast. And I personally think that they have many of these scalar wave machines. And they probably don't even have them on the surface. Probably they have many of them underground. I mean, because they can go right through water, right through rock, right through space, whatever. And apparently they can go through space and time. But that's what this is. Because you go back on the older hurricanes, look, there's no cracks. It's just a white cloud. I wanted to see a good, nice white cloud. That's Hurricane. These are several hurricanes we're looking at. Okay, so how can it be that one hurricane has the little bright flashes and these other ones have none of them? How can that be? Okay, either it's got to have lightning or it doesn't have to have lightning. Well, the point is, there's what, 2, 4, 6, 8 or 9? And you can go online and you can pull them up for yourself and you can look at them. And you can see there's not flashes. Look, here we have 1, 2, 3 twisting out there. No flashes. Here's Rita. No flashes. No flashes. But then you come down here to, you look up some of the more recent ones, and you'll see they have flashes, multiple flashes. They are causing scalar wave. Don't be deceived. They are causing high technology. Russia has scalar wave technology weapons that can unleash massive destruction. According to Natural News, Russia has claimed that it has made radical new weapon systems that can render enemy satellites and weapons of the future futile. According to the Russian makers, it is a fundamentally new electronic warfare system that can be installed on ground-based as well as air and seaborne carriers. The new electronic warfare system is said to be capable of squashing cruise and other high-precision weaponry, guidance systems, and satellite radio electronic equipment. Look, Russia is not afraid of our nuclear weapons. They're not afraid of them. They act like they are, they're not. They know that they have scalar wave, and it can be like an entire umbrella over a nation or over just a city, and nothing will get through. Not a missile, not a drone, not an airplane, nothing will get through that. The system, which sounds like scalar type weaponry, can also target enemies' electronic means, military satellites, deck-based, tactical, long-range, and strategic aircraft. What's most concerning is its effect on nuclear weapons and radioactive materials. Now listen carefully. Which can be catastrophic. Other factors and other great importance is the possible use of the Russian HARP-style woodpecker transmitter, which is said to have been partly responsible for the Chernobyl reactor failures. Okay, so I read one article that said what actually happened to Chernobyl is Russia was just learning about some of the aspects of their scalar wave machine, and they accidentally caused the nuclear elements in Chernobyl to activate, and that's what caused the whole Chernobyl meltdown. Because, see, scalar wave can see through rock, through dirt, water, metal. It goes through everything. It's interdimensional. And I think that that's how Russia found all of the oil, because they used their scalar wave machine to see where the pockets of oil were. They went over there and drilled to that depth, and bingo, there it was. I also think that they've recently buddied up with China, and that's the reason China is now drilling some really, really deep wells out in a very, very strange area of China. No one would ever normally drill for oil out there, and my guess is they'll hit it because Russia told them, this is where it is. Drill here, this deep, we just gave you oil. So let's watch over the next coming months and see if that happens. Ukraine disposed of all of its stocks of highly enriched uranium, purportedly out of fear of Russia employing scalar wave weapons to have Ukraine's own materials blow up and render the country radioactive for centuries. Now, do I know that's true? I can't prove it, but it sounds reasonable. There's another guy named Bearden. Bearden claimed that an early test model of scalar wave generator was used instead of an anti-aircraft rocket to bring down Gary Powers' U-2 spy plane. Gary Powers said he didn't see any kind of a missile coming up. He didn't see a smoke trail. He says all of a sudden, he said just everything in his cockpit started having sparks come off of it, and all of a sudden nothing in his plane worked anymore, and it just dropped out of the sky. There are several examples of documented sightings of probable scalar waves activity, but nothing can be found from any web searches. They see that this stuff doesn't get on the web. This could mean that they are fake news, but also could mean that they are classified information and dangerous. They don't want people to know. Bearden, a retired lieutenant colonel, I spoke to him on the phone one day, who works as a weapons analysis for an aerospace company, has been gathering reports of unexplained explosions, such as a 1976 sighting in Afghanistan of gigantic expanding spheres of light. So it's a sphere, okay? It's not a streak, it's a sphere. Spheres of light emanating from deep within the Soviet Union. According to Bearden, one can make extremely powerful weapons by merging and concentrating electromagnetic and gravity waves. Bearden also noted that this could be very well what former Soviet Premier Nikita Khrushchev was referring to 25 years ago when he announced that the Russians had a fantastic new weapon that could destroy life on Earth. The point being today, scalar wave is real. Do not believe what they're telling you about climate change. It's high technology. And the purpose is to make all of the planet take the mark of the beast. If they can take away their food, take away their electronics, take away their HVAC, their cars, if they take away all of their conveniences, then finally they'll have no choice but to turn to the world government and ask for help. And governments can say, no man can buy or sell save he had the mark of the name of the beast or the number of his name. You want to have food? You got to take the mark. You want to have a car? You want to have gasoline? You want to have air conditioning in your home? You got to take the mark. You will not be able to exist outside of the system. Now, right now, everybody's concerned about them coming out with a new virus, a new pandemic. Well, the devil is only used, that's one of his minor ploys. This is a bigger ploy. Scalar Wave can shut down the whole planet. There's a scripture that says, and he destroyeth them which destroyeth the earth. So ultimately, this high technology, maybe not just this, but other high technology is going to destroy the earth. Isaiah 19, I believe it says, the earth turneth upside down and scattereth abroad the inhabitants thereof. So this high technology, and it may be nuclear weapons, there's another scripture that says, and the earth is moved at the taking of Babylon. So when Russia hits America with multiple nuclear weapons all at once, it literally moves the earth. And that may be what turns the earth upside down. I don't know. But the point is, don't believe climate change. That's my point. Don't believe climate change. And I suggest you go to Joseph's Kitchen, get yourself some food. Go to cornerstoneassetmetals.com, say, hey, what do you think I ought to do? I got this money. Then go to EMP Shield, using the promo code Prophecy. Get yourself an EMP Shield like I've got right here. One for your car. Each one of your cars, one for your house. What is wrong with this? You say, well, it's a piece of bread. You're right. It's a piece of bread I took out of this loaf. This loaf is a 1 pound loaf, and there's something missing from this bread. Even though it says it is whole wheat, there's still something missing from this and almost all of the bread you're eating. See, the story was in 1860, the smart humans decided that they were going to outstrip God and that they could figure out a way to where the flour would not spoil, because once you break the wheat berry, then it begins to spoil, and in 7 to 10 days, it's got mold. So they figured out how they could be smarter than God. We're going to take out the outside shell and then the wheat germ. We're only going to use the white powder part of the wheat. And that doesn't spoil. And they're right. You can put it in a bag. 5 years later, it's still there. But then, of course, there's something else they removed. And that is most. Now, not all, but most of the nutrition. So then they had to pass all of these laws saying you got to put niacin, you got to put vitamins, you got to do this, put all of this into the... So why not just use what God made? So the difference between this and what I made is this. That's the difference in my bread, whole wheat bread, versus what you buy in the store. The bigger slice here, this is actually cherry, cinnamon, honey, and vanilla mixed together. And I made this. So when you make your own homemade bread, you can make it flavor any way. You want jalapeno, you got it. You want to have seeds, sesame seeds, however you want to, you can make it. But the big advantage to making your own whole wheat bread is that it's probably the cheapest way to have long-term storage food, because most of your long-term storage food companies cost $9,000 to $10,000 per person per year. But at Joseph's Kitchen, they can show you how to feed your family for about $1,000 per person per year, and it's whole wheat. Okay, so what is whole wheat over the regular wheat? Well, you remember the 7 years of plenty followed by the 7 years of famine of Joseph and the Pharaoh. Well, that meant that the whole world lived off of wheat for 7 years. Now, I don't think that maybe Jesus said, man should not live by bread alone, meaning you should have other things that you should eat. However, about the closest thing out there that'll feed you not only good tasting, but also nutrition for your body is wheat. And so we recommend you go to josephskitchen.com. When you go there, you got to get 2 things. One is you have to get a machine package. That's the items that you need to actually physically make the bread. It's a wheat grinder where you put the wheat in. 30 seconds later, you have flour. You put it into a bread machine with 6 other ingredients. Push a button, 2 hours, 20 minutes later, you have a nice, hot, steaming loaf of wonderful, that you made, whole wheat bread. Slice that up. The slicer is even included. The beakers, everything. It's everything you need to make bread. Then you decide how much food you want to have. You want to have food for 6 people 1 year, 4 people 1 year, 2 people 1 year. You place your order, and they have it in stock. Because most of these long-term storage food places, they're out. Some of them are 2 or 3 months. Some of them are even longer behind in filling their orders. But at Joseph's Kitchen, they can ship within 2 or 3 days. And they ship around the world. Go to josephskitchen.com. I'm telling you that the prophecies say there's about to be a food shortage. And if you want to listen to what God's trying to warn us about, then you'll get this long-term storage food. Secret door to understand Bible prophecy. It will help you to understand. It's not complicated, but it is deep, because to understand Bible prophecy, well, let's put it this way. I wish I had had the book 30 years ago. It would have helped me understand Bible prophecy. It would have put so many misunderstandings that I have had through the years in place. Matter of fact, when I started getting these 30 revelations, because I memorized the book of Revelation, I learned a lot. I learned a lot I did not know. I think I went to school with Jesus, and I don't think I'm something special. Matter of fact, I don't even think it came because I memorized the book of Revelation. I think you're something special. I think he gave the book to his end-time saints, his end-time watchmen, so that you can explain to people, so you can be a part of the great move of God, the great harvest, the thousands upon thousands of souls that are about to come to Jesus. And if you want to share in that harvest, you need to be able to explain Bible prophecy. And the Holy Spirit is not going to put up with you teaching a bunch of errors. You got to know what you got to know. And that is, you got to kick out that idea thinking that there's going to be a pre-trib rapture. It's not going to happen. Not going to happen. It's not going to happen. There's other things, you got to learn. And this is the reason I think he gave the book. Secret door to understand Bible prophecy, prophecyclub.com. prophecyclub.com. Terry Saka, Cornerstone, assetmetals.com. The world seems to be falling apart financially. Why should they call Cornerstone assetmetals.com today?
Well, the FDIC insurance fund is now empty. Not only is it empty, it's at zero. So now all bank bailouts are going to have to come from taxpayers. This could result in trillions of new currency notes being printed. The more they print, the more inflation we're going to have, potentially hyperinflation, and we need to protect ourselves away from that dollar.
CornerstoneAssetMetals.com. Go online or give them a call at 888-747-3309. CornerstoneAssetMetals.com. You don't have to get anything today. Just give them a call and say, hey, here's my situation. What do you suggest?